Yeah, we are good.
Good.
Do I have some time today?
Yes, you do. And I'm sorry that I forgot to mention that in the invite. I should have, because you told me Monday, and
No.
it slipped my mind.
I just
Yeah.
asked if there would be any time because it seemed like a new thing is coming for designer.
Good. So maybe we'll start off with that. I don't know if, Santosh, you're new. Do you want to say something about your background and what you hope to gain from this?
Yeah, I would start. Okay. So, and thanks a lot, Johan, for inviting me to this meeting. And first of all, this is Santosh Kumar. So I have around 15 plus of years of experience in IT industry. I was mainly predominantly working on e-commerce domain, and I was looking for a change. And luckily I found an opening with MDriven, and Johan shared me a link about the company and the organization, how the application is. So I was going through the application and I was pretty much interested in it, and I started learning it. I have installed the software and I am doing some experiments on the software as of now.
Okay, good. Very good and very welcome. So in this meeting, we pretty much do some demos and talks and questions on things that has happened since last time we met or stuff. So don't be afraid, any one of you, to ask questions about things. But we're going to start off with Alex. You want to present a few things around designer work.
Yeah, let me screen share if it's possible.
Where are you located, Santosh?
I am from Stockholm, Sweden, and
Okay.
I was working with Ericsson for 3 years, and then recently I just want to move out of e-commerce domain, and I was looking for a different product altogether. This is somewhat sketchy, which is driven on model-driven one. So it seems interesting, and I started working on it a little bit.
Nice, super nice.
Sorry, 1 second. We have some technical issues with screen sharing, so we just back to restart. Yeah, we will reconnect.
All right. Okay. Well, we will. I can go first then, and then we will jump back when you reconnect.
Of course. Yeah.
And this thing that I'm going to show is I think it's pretty cool, but that's per usual. I actually always say that when I'm going to show something, but this time it's different. No, I don't know.
It's cooler than usual.
Yeah, I'm going to share my screen. So, all right, maybe you're already back, Alex.
Yeah, let's try to screen share now.
Try. I'm going to cancel my... great.
Oh, great. So basically what I want to present to you is some kind of landing page for different company builder. And what I'm trying to achieve with this landing page builder into build or edit a landing page like this using just the placing containers and using all, and manage all the data within one view in your app. So you as a company manager, for example, you will be able to go and manage your company, let's say this one, and being able to edit like your page, that is landing page like this. So first of all, you would like, for example, to edit your theme of this page, what is the theme stands for. It's like a color palette for your landing page. So you first choose like your color palette from the predefined palettes on your app. And we have 3 of this here, and basically they are like at this point built-in or predefined by the sysadmin, but you can still see the changes right away, and you can see how your landing page will look like depending on the theme and what you want to see. You can go, for example, check how it will be as a preview, not within this page, but as like this. So you can go back and forth and try out different themes. I will explain later how the themes is built here.
So this is super cool. So you have made a model to model the landing page.
Yeah, kind of like this. And for example, if you want to add some sliders as we have it like here, like this. But for now, the pictures is not working really well, but you still have an ability to add a new sliders. I add like a special thing. For example, if you want to add this slider, you would click on and you would add it, but I cannot change right now the image. It's just a little bug here. So we are working on that, but you still can change, for example, or add a slider to your presentation. You will have like 3, well, now it's 4 because the 4th is empty because you added the one. And
has this been a requirement for a existing project, or is?
Yeah, the theme settings, it was a requirement for for EasyR.
Yeah.
And all of this like editing stuff like sliders and all of that stuff I just added on top, but this landing page is not the EasyR one.
No.
I also want to have it's like the landing page is totally built with the placing containers, and we didn't have previously the ability to create an element like what is called like accordion. So it's basically like a list of objects that have like an expandable spaces here when you click on it. And as in this case, as a admin or manager of a company, you can actually dynamically change this. So I can show you. So this, what I call like, what we call them in the company settings, I call them rules, but doesn't really matter how you call them. So each of this row here, each of this button, I would say here, it's the separate object. So it's collection of objects, and you can create dynamically like number something, and you can have description here and save, and you can have it here as a kind of like a dynamic.
Yeah. And this showing and hiding, is that placing containers, and is that?
It's totally placing container based. So there is no overridden element whatsoever on this page at all. So it's only like placing containers and CSS tweaking basically. And of course the theming, we did it before, and it also was before for, I guess, the wildfire project, that we have these different coloring schemes for different companies. We chose the primary color and, adding more and more stuff. But in this case, you as a system administrator, you can go to theme manager like this, create one, the whole like list of these predefined themes. And of course, as a designer, you can assign your palette of the themes. For example, if I go like demo and get some kind of like primary color, let's say we would go with some pinkish. This is on primary color. It should be contrast to the primary color that you choose. Background, you can have something very light and neutral color. It's dependent how you would build your landing page, your template for the landing page. And secondary color, let be something deeper than the primary color, like this. And we can save it and go back to company demo, and you can see that it's appear right away, and you can try out this theme, and you can have like colored landing page right away.
And you colored even the image got a small tint of the...
Yes, but it's basically just a little
CSS magic.
Yeah, CSS magic.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah, so it's not a filter
No.
on the picture, but it's like it's just a little container that it's transparent. Yeah, that's...
I think it would be, just for the future, Alex. I mean, seeing this is so cool, and you say it's just a little CSS thing. Yeah, but that's the thing, that it's not just CSS thing for others. So, having this example and then put it on the wiki and adding some CSS info, I think that would just be a great thing, because you might think this is super simple, but I wouldn't know how to do it actually.
No, I just, I put into this, demo landing page, like different parts of my experience with placing containers, experience with themes that you, Hans, created, and I just developed it to, further. And we can develop even more this landing page builder, like adding in new sections, like dynamically, adding, more content depending on what you would want to add, but it will be even more and more complicated, and I understand that. So, but it's like the simplest, that's why I just call it like a simple thing, like a little CSS.
Can we see the model? I want to see the model.
Yeah, sure.
And I want to see the view model.
Yeah, sure, of course. So the model is like one of the basic stuff. So the company demo stands for the actual like landing page, and your theme is like the core thing that handles all of the attributes. All of the attributes that are referring to the theme. So it's like all the colors, all the applied CSS that you want to inject into the specific page, into the specific view model, added. And once again, Hans said you did this before, you just injected with the wildfire, so I did that. I just expanded the amount of colors and stuff that you can play with. So, and here for the company demo, I have like sliders and rules, so-called, that I showed you before. Sliders is just to be able to show you so you can, change dynamically the content, add more, delete sliders or stuff. And rules, it's this frequently asked questions that I've showed you. So it's like also in objects here. So the view model looks, here is the demo. The view model for the company demo looks like this. It's, basically it's like a tree of, it's a column of, it's the whole page. It's like separated into like 3 main pieces. It's, the top bar, it's like where you exit and preview. Here, we won't talk about this because it's like pretty simple to add. But the main three, in this case, in the edit mode, three main columns is the theme settings. So it's like a column, the preview wrapper, the actual preview of your landing page, and the added sliders column here. So it looks like this. So this is the top bar here. This is the content wrapper that actually holds all of these three columns. So what column 1, it's the tools wrapper here. We can see it. Column 2 is the preview wrapper, that it's the whole like your landing page. That is very big. So it's and the third column is it's not shown here in the actual view model previewer, but yeah, it's there. It's like a separate column, and you can go and click the button, click open and close the slides like here. So it's expandable.
How come it's not showing this?
And that's probably because there's an image there, and it's nothing that has a natural min height. So if you were to set the min height on the image just to then it would show in design as well. I think.
Is it height or width?
It depends if it's a row or a column. I think that was a row. Then it would be height to pull to drag.
This one, it's this preview container. Well, it just takes the whole the whole space that's left basically, and this one, it just takes the width of the picture of minimum widths. I guess it's maximum widths of 200 pixels, and the actual container, it takes the width of to fit the contents the container. So that's why this container is around like 200 pixels, and it's like it expands. When it's collapsed, the preview wrapper, it takes its space. So
okay, so when you show without the design part, that when you actually show it, it's the same view model that shows, but no,
it's not the same. I just make it a little bit more simple. I didn't want to complicate things. Just to copy paste it and have just a preview container here. Like just add, copy pasted the view model, remove the tool to like
the stuff that you didn't need.
That I don't need, and you have only this preview container here. So that's the only thing. But for example, for EasyR, we made it a little bit differently. It's a little less complicated, like it's without any of the sliders stuff and rules. So we just turn off the not showing some certain areas that are admin only, and when you have like a preview mode or like a landing page mode. So but I would suggest just to have like 2 different pages if you want to have like full scale mode, because it's it's like
it's unnecessary to drag on with the other stuff when
especially if you want to have more settings here. So that's basically what I wanted to show you.
Super nice. Cool. And
but unfortunately the pictures here is not working. I cannot upload. It's something that Dennis can have a magic on, so that's why the sliders is not working here.
Yeah, there's always something. There's always something left to do. That's good.
Yeah.
A question there. So we have this view model thing. That's a nice thing. Maybe in this case, you could have like the whole the page without editing, and then put that into the edit one. So if you only have one. I mean, I understand now that this is a demo and everything. This is more like, for building for the future. Would that work?
I think so, yeah, totally. If you would have like this preview view model injected into this edit mode, that's gonna totally work. But I didn't try it in this case. But yeah, I think we made it something like this with the husbildskompisar, like an view model in a view. But yeah, I didn't work on that much, so that's yeah.
Cool.
I was just curious, because that would even make it more powerful, the ability to add edit features to a lot of views. Maybe if you have these needs, you can make the front-facing thing, and then you could actually, in several cases, maybe, I haven't thought of it before, you want the admin mode thing. You can just add the admin thing, and then you plop in the front one, and then you all of a sudden you actually have this ability to dynamically edit pages, which would be a cool thing, and you still only have one place to maintain each feature, and they merge only when they are like shown.
Yeah. Yes. That's kind of what I was also working on, is this edit mode of some of the pages. We have this need to actually added this heavy load content pages on different and multiple projects. So that's why I'm just thinking of how we can handle this edit mode within one page, so we don't need to go back and forth somewhere else. That was one of things like this that I wanted to have an easier firstly, and the next one will be, I think, even rock. But that's there is the other pattern that's much more that we want to have it in rock. But yeah, that will be made
because it's something Hans and I have been talking about for many years, right? We all want this. What have we talked about, Hans? The ability to have like content that is written by people, right? Like a CMS, content management system. And at the same time, in the same app, basically, you want structured data that coming straight from a database and being compiled as dashboards and all these things. And you will want both of these things in one. And if you go out on the street, anywhere, you can buy a content management system, and you can buy a system for managing your business data. But you want them in one system, because it's when they meet up, it gets really powerful, where you have like humanly created news. And in the same system, you then want dashboard data. With a click, you can go to and see business information. So this would be a really interesting that maybe we'll finally come together, and we'll have this ability to make really nice dashboard content management style things combined with all the logins and all the other business stuff you want to bring in.
Yeah,
so,
looking really good.
Really
and Lars, and to your point, where this kind of magic system that does both structured data and content redaction or content that the user writes themselves. It's basically SharePoint, but the problem with SharePoint is that the structured data is only name value pairs in lists, and of course you can do anything with that, but it isn't easy to maintain, and it isn't easy to understand, and it doesn't perform. So even if you can, it's not a good fit. So what we do with explaining the structure is it's much better long term and to grow a complex system.
Yeah.
Cool.
I just wanted to add, I think this is a great way to also get more people to know about MDriven, because this is a nice almost plug and play type of approach. So I think we should use this also to market it. So
Yeah,
this
definitely.
is very exciting.
So
Philip, you should also reach out to Alex. Sorry.
Yeah. So we should have a small finished model that is a content management system that has the ability, much like WordPress or something like that. So and that's easy to build further on with the structured data.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Basically, what I wanted to, in the future to reach out is that just to mimic that way of content management. I'm not still sure that this demo is content management. It's all about like more about the theming, but at least we can develop this idea of content management. That would be great. Yeah.
Really good. Great. So I'm back on the show. I'm gonna.
You had the super cool, was it?
Yeah. No, I might have oversold it, but I don't know. So I'm gonna use the default model to show this, and I'm also gonna use an MDriven server to have the data in, and so this model is connected to this MDriven server, and as I do changes in the model, and if I add an attribute and upload the model, I will see that there's stuff added to the database, nothing to it. And what we have had in the MDriven server for quite some time is the ability to see the data without having an application. You can just log into the MDriven server and see the data in slot A0. Så and as if I go to thing here, we have this thing called stats, which shows us some statistics for this class. And what it does, it says that there's currently 36 instances of class thing in the database, and all the associations that are available from thing are also listed here, and it says how many objects are in the far end at the largest instance. So why is this important? Well, it's important if you're going to use an association. If you're going to use it in the UI, for example, is it really crowded? Are there 1,000? Is there one association class that has a link with 1,000 objects? Then you probably don't want to pick it from a combo box or a picker. You want to do something else. So this is important information that you need to sort of be aware of when doing your UI and doing your model. It can also be that you follow a link in a bad direction that forces the framework to load thousands or maybe tens of thousands or even more objects into memory, and that will not perform. So it's really important to be aware of how the data is structured in real life. And in our big project at Perigo, a developer named Erik said that it would be really cool if we just could get that information just by being in the model. And I started to object, well, you can't, because this is on the class level, and there's no connection to the instances. This is just the concept of your system, and so sorry, that's just not possible. And always when I say that something is impossible or isn't possible, I sort of think why I say that. And there's always some reason, and often it comes down to me being lazy or something. So giving it a little bit more thought, it would be nice if you could sort of just point at a association end and say real data from MDriven server to know straight away from the model, and get this view directly from the connected MDriven server that says that this association, well, there's 36 instances of thing, and in some value to value store, in that the single link name some value to value store has it's 4 objects that are unassigned and 32 that are 4 objects that are assigned and 32 that are unassigned. So I get an information about how this single link is configured, or how the distribution of data is instantly. And of course I want to do that in all. If I want to check this multi-link, how many will there be here? Real data from MDriven server. So from details to the association from, let's see, it's from thing and follows the association details and ends up in class detail. And the maximum amount of any object thing is 5. So there's no thing that has more than 5 details. And the minimum, there's no thing that has any that has fewer than 3. And the average is 4. So I get this information straight away. And if I were to go to a seeker for this thing and let's click one up and say that we add some more details. I'm gonna add new details. So this is like a few. And if I go back here and ask for real data from MDriven server, I get the updated information instantly and I know what's real. So that's really good. And so that's for associations. But I think the cool thing was for attributes, because if I were to click on an attribute and say real data from MDriven server, it says that okay, this is the stats for thing some date time, which is the attribute name. I know there's 36 instances of thing, and I'm looking at the sum date time attribute, and the biggest value of that attribute in the database is this, and the minimum value except null is this. And also there's example values, so it tries to find 10 rows and groups them based on values. So it appears that there are 34 of the 36 instances that has null in this value, and there's one instance that has this. So that's really good when looking at any sort of attribute. I can immediately get a feel for how is this used. The max value is this and the min value is empty string. There's 30 thing objects that has empty string in some string, and there are 2 that has a. There are 30 that has no. This is another section explaining the length of or the size of the data. So that's also really good. If this was a sort of a blob or an image, I wouldn't get the example data, but I would still get the length. So I get a feel for how used is this. And having a small model like this, it might not be that important, but as your model grows and it turns out that it was more than a year since you last looked at this class with these attributes, you start to be confused and not really certain, are we using this one? And it would be really good if you just can right click it and get the information that well, yes, we have these values. It's not overly used, but it's a bit used. So basically what Erik said, I thought it would be almost impossible to implement because I didn't understand how we would know where to pull the data from. This could be connected to any database. But if you're using the cloud form cloud connection to connect to an MDriven server, we'll just grab that one and assume that things are named thing and some date type, and then send that up to the server. And if it's not the exact same model version, that doesn't really hurt anyone, because if we send up something that doesn't really exist, like this attribute X, it says that, well, I don't know, but it's 16 instances of class value store. So that's the only thing it could deduce from that. I think it's fine to have a different class as well. Like that. Yeah, it doesn't know what it is. So I think this is super cool, but that's just me. What about you?
It's definitely very useful if you're debugging something and you're wondering, why is this slow? Or why is this loading slow? And you want to have, it's like, how many things are in that link? And today I usually resort back to SQL, to look there, because I actually haven't really, I know this exists, but it's not there for me to use. So this will definitely increase my use of the MDriven server's UI, which have these cool features, but they're not there for me the way they have, because this would instantly maybe tell me why I should construct something, because you can look from both ends. So if you have 1 million going that way and you have 5 going the other way, it's like, whoa, go that way. That's much smarter, because we have this, as long as you use the OCL and not OCLPS, you have to be aware of that if you're navigating across a link and there's 1 million things at the other end, then you'll pull 1 million things into the server, and that's unnecessary. So either swap and go the other way, or you need to use OCLPS. So that's really interesting that you made this connection, because it actually connects the static model thing to the running system in a way that we haven't done before. So I can see why you're happy that you came up with this.
Yeah, and I think it's a good eye-opener also for everyone that's struggling with the difference between classification and instances, and to be able to both associate the classes with the instances and see the get this close connection is beneficial, I think, to get an understanding how things work, and definitely to get the example data.
I totally agree. This is a long feature, and especially in the learning phase when you're struggling what's what, and also for the debugging purposes, this is a lot quicker. But as Lars said, you're probably going to end up in production situation when this is going to be very, very slow, I guess. Or you have a cap some way, or
so it's actually it's using SQL, so it's probing with the it's not loading anything into memory or very small things into memory, and the example data is only 10 rows, and it groups it on the value and takes the largest set. So if there's a distribution of almost unique values in the table, you will get 10 unique values and a number 1 behind each, stating that this value only exists once. But in this case, there's 34 of them that so I don't think it will slow down anything in
No. So let me jump in there, because you said, no, I meant that this UI in the MDriven server doesn't have to load things. That's the beauty of it. You can actually look at a really huge link without performance penalty when you as a designer look at it. But it's very important information going back into when you design your view models.
Yeah.
So this is not going to kill you, but it's the way that using this as a tool to build it the right way, so you don't kill the running system where actually your users are in it.
So does this require a new MDriven server, or is just this a designer thing?
Yes, it's both needs an MDriven server and a new designer to be fully functional, fully operational.
Okay. But will it sense what MDriven server you're on, or will there just be an error if you're on the wrong?
Yeah, so it will try this URL, and the old MDriven server won't die if it gets this. It just won't produce any the same amount of detail. If you have a new designer, you can get this level pointing at the class that shows these things, and that's new. That hasn't been available from here. You had to actually go into the MDriven server and find stuff. So this is sort of a fast track into.
Yep.
And of course, most likely you have the MDriven server that you have connected to here is your developer server and not production server. So that will be developer data, but that's fine, because that's most likely a copy of a production server at some point. Yeah, cool. Maybe
this made me think about how this could, of course, be then, used in other ways. We haven't really integrated or made the MDriven server a natural extension of the designer, but maybe it could be more actually.
In part, we don't want to tie them too hard together, but it's they can definitely make good use of each other. One of the feedbacks I got from a presentation I held, and I was a bit surprised by that actually, that they sort of painted it as a big problem that the system would have a administering UI available like this in production environment. And that's sort of what we have heard at Finansen as well. They definitely don't want to configure with the UI. They want to send up settings. But some people doing operations are apparently allergic to even seeing the ability to change things online, even if it's protected by all the means needed. So, and that's sort of strange, because if you buy a printer or a switch or a router, they all have web UIs that come up where you can configure them, because no one wants to put buttons on stuff. But so that might be a problem. Yeah.
So do we have any other Anyone have other questions?
If you don't, I can show a thing. So this was a thing that came up and this morning. Emily, you had a question about, or rather we tried to, the question was basically like this: if you have a seeker and you do a seeker form, yeah, let's do a seeker form for things, and being really lazy, you do the UI first and just choose seeker auto form, and then you have something that you can change any way you want, but initially it will try to seek on all the parameters available in thing. What if this list, depending on stuff, you want it to result in very different classes? So maybe thing and detail. And then I said, well, that won't work. And basically because the logic behind the seeker is based on the initial class that the view is rooted in, the view model is rooted in, and everything goes from here. So they are made, the built-in logic for seekers are sort of simplified to search for one thing. So that might be a limitation, but that's only a limitation of the built-in functionality. So then I suggested that, well, maybe we could do a collecting form that pulls in different seekers with this mount view model thing. Yeah, can't show it now. And we tried that, but that fell on the fact that variables with the same names must have the same type in order to mount things together. This is one of the communication ways for mounting, so it's sort of important. And the vSeeker result, which is a special variable name that comes with a seeker logic or seeker the automated seeker form, and they will then get one vSeeker result as a collection of thing and the other seeker result as a collection of details. So that won't work either. So how do you do it then if all these things doesn't work? And then I said there's nothing stopping you from doing a seeker from scratch your own way without doing these orange seek expressions. You can do this yourself with using the PS evaluation. So this operation called PS evaluation takes some expression and turns that into SQL and applies the max fetch and offset and things to return something back. And basically what you can do is to put that in a form that isn't a seeker form and use that as a seeker to make it seek for you. And we did that, and what I wanted to show that we also could do it totally automatic, since this PS evaluation also has an expression that, or something that it's going to subscribe to. Subscribe to and does change whenever this change. So the idea was to be able to just type something in and the search would go automatically without the need for any periodic action and things like that. And as I showed that, it halted terribly because there was someone that hadn't tested that use case, I think. So,
No.
and but let's see what the definition of this expression is then. So it says that search for detail all instances if the attribute is like this value, and that value is defined up here as the value of self sum string and appending a percentage to give a wildcard to the SQLite, and then it subscribes on the sum string as well. So that would mean that whenever I type something here and step away, the search is executed and the result is updated. So that would be a totally different way to provide search functionality. And if I do it this way, I could very well have how many different types of information as I want. Of course, I can't show more than one type in a list unless I use the superclass of them both, but I can easily have multiple lists and use placing containers to show and hide the lists depending on what I want to show. So this is something that didn't really work perfectly prior to today. So, but
I think, Hans, I think I've actually done something similar before with the standard seeker, but now there's some new options. I'm just mentioning it because I actually had search expressions that all resulted in a superclass, and they all turned into the superclass, which everything fit into, and then I had a very I looked at each field to see what I could extract for each column. Not quite clumsy, but nowadays then with the placing containers you could actually filter so that each row could be a different, could look different, I guess. So now you could actually have a mixed list.
A mixed bag of stuff. Yes, I guess so.
Yeah. Not that I know that it would be useful for anything.
So the things that you search for should probably be related to each other on a pretty close basis, because if you go back all to the sys superclass, that's like child mapped, and when you try to search for something like that, it runs through. Yeah, maybe it's only typed.
No,
the search.
Yeah, what I did was that the searches was completely different searches. So they were only searching in their own class, but when they combine together at the top, they if you just fit them, they will all fit in one list of superclass.
Yeah.
The search list. But it's, of course, this is tweaking to the extreme maybe, but yeah.
So
sometimes
basically what you did was this, and that would have worked also, Emily. I didn't think about that. So in Paraguay it's called ACO superclass, but this one, if this is sys superclass, then the resulting list will be sys superclass, and it won't complain because these are thing, and we can set all. Well, if we redo it, no, we shouldn't redo it.
You don't even actually, you can actually have whatever you want up there, I think, because if you manually create the collection, the B-seeker result variable, and set it to superclass, that will override the built-in default functionality.
Yeah.
So yeah, B-seeker result there. If you change that one, it will actually work anyway. But I like your new take on this because it opens up a whole different avenue of searching. So this was very interesting to see. But there are ways to.
Yeah. So and if we do it like this, as you suggest now, a collection of sys superclass, then we actually could pull in mounted other seekers that has the same definition on this variable. Yes. So
we're having so much fun. We're almost out of time.
Yeah.
Anyone want to comment on this? Any questions or anything? Emily, you should say something. You're the main focus the reason this whole thing is going on.
It's my fault. No, it's super cool, and I think like the use case would be maybe for like the first page you go to when you open an application or something, and maybe you want to multi-seek, like you want to go to a project, but you don't want to navigate. You just want to type your project name and then find it in the list. And but another person might want to go to a product instead, or an article or whatever. Now I'm talking about the article master. So like a multi-seeker, like a small little Google on the first page.
Yeah, good. That's probably something that would be doable by some of these strategies. Good. So
I just wanted to say I'm curious to see what Santosh, how from like as new to the framework, what do you think of it, or what are your overall thoughts?
Okay, let me share my screen. So I am pretty new to this application first of all, but I have some roadmaps which I want to discuss whether I'm going in the right place, right direction or not, which I think you people can help me assist with. So let me share my screen and probably Can you see my screen?
yes.
Okay. See, I am going through this list of videos which is presented from 284 steps all day. So I'm going through these videos as the first step. So, and after completion of this, is this the right place to start?
Yeah, I think it's the best place to start, just to get the handicraft going and to know what everything is. And even if I think there's sort of 9 or 10 chapters today, but there are more chapters coming, and we will be providing more chapters going forward. So this will be a good place to, and also if you feel that you miss something, or that you lack knowledge or information and you can articulate that, please just let us know, and then we will steer
Yeah, it was a very useful video, to be honest, because when I started initially, I was struggling a bit with installing, looking into the application, everything. But now at least I have the grip of the application, what it is doing.
Yeah.
I think there is a place where you missed to map the person somewhere. I don't know, I think it's on the tutorial 2, I guess.
Okay.
Somewhere we need to map the person which was not associated, which I checked it. But since I have the grip of the application, I have done it actually.
Okay, good.
And I'm going through this link as my part. So what I can understand from this is this design is where we will be doing the model part, and the turnkey will be helping us in doing the front end design.
Yes. So that's actually the execution of the front end. So what you will in turn, when it's time to actually deploy to in a production site, that will be a turnkey server reading your model, and also the turnkey, you will use that developing to see the result and test your application.
Okay. And this framework is designed based on, I think, C# and some advanced.
So that's the basis of all of this. You don't have to use that to get going, but MDriven framework is the plugin for Visual Studio that enables you to generate code for everything in your model. If you want to write more complex things with C#, and initially you should refrain from that. It's not needed, but if you ever hit a brick wall with some kind of a cryptographic algorithm that you need to use that you can't find in what we provide, then it's easy to use the framework to get the full access to everything available in .NET.
Okay, got it. So my roadmap is like I'm trying to cover the...
Santosh, sorry to interrupt. I didn't mean so much to show, like, I meant more in general for the meeting. Like, because I think this is something more personal to discuss. If you want, I'd be happy to have a meeting with you and discuss over your roadmap. It was just more in general to see from what you saw today.
It's very good that you have started, and that you also, if you make progress or if you find issues with the 1000 steps program, let us know, and we will do our best to fix it.
And I'll be happy to have a meeting with you. Like, we can go over this and see exactly what you need support with. So,
Sure, Johan. So as far as I'm concerned, when compared to the other tools what I have worked on, this is much simpler. It's kind of a plug and play and little bit of analytical skills. If we implement, I think it's quick to develop and deploy into production. That is what I can feel at this point of time.
Good. So that's the overall feeling that we want to convey and that we want to deliver on. So very, very good. Okay, to be
thanks, Santosh.
Respecting everyone's time, thank you very much for showing up tonight, and see you in 2 weeks.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Bye.
Yeah. Sorry for being a bit late.
Bye-bye.
See you next time.
Hi,
Bye.
Daniel. No problem.
Bye.
Bye.
Great.